Hey everyone, this is Be Divine, Voice of the Flame, and this is the flame frequency for this week, which is a little bit of an energetic update as to what the feeling is and what things you might want to be looking out for or preparing yourself on an inner level for. So this is a living transmission that awakens the codes within you, okay, burns the noise, and returns you to your sacred flame. So we're sealing this energy right now with love, trust, and I am going to get started with this week's message. So July 28th to August the 3rd. Now this is going to be quite an interesting week. Thank you to those of you who came to the Lionsgate transmission on the 26th. I will be having another one on the 7th, and this will be live on Zoom. It is an activation, it is powerful, and it's only for people who are seriously ready to dive into the next part of their life, right? And I will let you all know more about that soon. But first, let's go. I don't know where to start here, there's so much information. Timelines are not syncing, okay? Many of you, I've been speaking with you about the golden timeline, that we're stepping away from this old nonsense and moving into this higher energy field, okay? So things are not syncing. People that you know, maybe people who you follow, people who you've been following, or maybe important prominent figures, there's going to just be some glitches. Suddenly someone that you watch, for example, just may say that they're going and taking a break. And this is really important because this is something that hasn't really happened before, okay? So a lot of work was done on the 26th, the opening of this portal, and it was very, very important to have the right people also there doing this work too. However, people are slipping off of your field, out of sight. We have to just, if they leave, we have to let it. If it burns, we have to bless it. If it is activated, we protect it. This is what we do. So sudden posts from people on social media that you may follow saying that they are taking a break, or that they're in hermit mode, or that they're not offering anything anymore. There's just a lot of this happening. Glitches. People will forget entire conversations. You're going to be mid-sentence and nothing will come out, and it has nothing to do with your age or dementia or anything like that. Okay, there are just glitches happening because, as I said, the timelines are not syncing up right now. The real split is sort of really taking over. Okay, so you might also see prominent people, and we've already had some losses that have been coming up, okay, but you might see prominent people either in Hollywood or just actors, right, or like I said, social media experts and just people that you follow are going to have these mental breakdowns. They just are collapsing energetically, and it's just going to happen more and more and more. This could also be talking about exposure this week. For example, leaks of secret files, data, or even government exposure. Leaking of information, communication, something suddenly just kicking off all of us down a bit more of a rabbit hole in a sense. So when this information comes forward, it does affect us, it affects what we've known, it affects things and people that we've looked up to perhaps, because anything that is false, as I've been saying for so long now, will not be able to continue in this energy. Things will be ripped out at the core. So, yeah, leaks are coming. There's also going to be some solar flares this week, and there could be some events involving fire and digital outages. Your phone might just have SOS on it. You might not be using your Wi-Fi or be able to do it. Again, these are temporary glitches. understand that when you see that happen, you can say, okay, well, I know what this is. Everything is having a bit of a reset, okay? Social media glitches, logins, there might be something that goes on, for example, with Facebook where no one can log in for a while, or there seems like there's a blackout energy. Okay, this may or may not happen. Now, what I say about this is if you don't want something to occur, you can push yourself away from it, right? You can change your way of thinking and shift. However, sometimes things like this, glitches and, little slip-ups, people who are prominent slipping up and saying something that they wouldn't normally say. Sometimes this is good to catch this, right? Because we know, okay, we're on the right track. Here it is. So the way that we used to see things is completely different, where we would be very trusting of everything we heard, right? Some of you would say, no, I was always suspicious. But when we were kids, we used to have to watch, at least in my house, we had to watch what our parents were watching, and it usually was the news at night until our show came on later on. And for me, that was like Monkey Magic or something like that I really wanted to watch. And so I would put up with whatever they were watching just so I could watch that, right? Whereas now we make these decisions and we can see right through things. We're getting smarter when it comes to manipulation. We're getting smarter about the darker psychology of things, right? We're getting really, really clever because we can also look so many things up now. But there could be some things that also happen in a sudden vibe as well. Suddenly there are people that are reaching out on social media. Maybe someone had forgotten all about you and found you, or maybe like there's an energy of, let's put it this way, forgetfulness. Okay, so you haven't really been thinking about this thing, but then it comes up. You haven't been thinking about this person for years and years, and then they come forward. So there's just this reintroduction, and you also just need to be careful whether you want to go down that road again or not. Another thing that I have noticed since doing the transmission on Saturday for that Lionsgate is we did an exercise where we had one hand over our heart and another hand over our diaphragm. And my diaphragm itself, like there was like a tightness in that area up until today, actually. So a couple of days of just tense where you felt like you had to push my stomach out just so I could sort of stretch it. That's what it felt like. So there's definitely when this happens to me, I know that something that had some kind of energetic perhaps hold, maybe from the outer fields, like whatever it is, something was releasing. And so there was residual soreness. And this is what happens with healing, or I call it restructuring or reconstruction. What happens with that is if there's a tension for a really long time in your body and it finally gets the relief that it needs, your body is not used to having the energy flow correctly. So there's soreness where there was such tension, like a lump of energy was stuck, and there's such tension there that there's some soreness as something is actually restructuring itself, which is a good thing. So you may notice this, you may notice a strange vibration, feeling. It might be like little tingles, it might be over a patch of your legs, for example. It might be on the top of your head or in your crown. These are, again, all areas that are starting to open. So this week is a little different, okay? You might also be stared at, getting unusual looks. This was happening all day to me today. It was so weird. That's why I thought it might bear mentioning. Just stared at for longer than normal, or just unusual the way that they are looking, okay? So just bear with this, okay? Remember to always bring yourself back into alignment, okay? Just trusting the process. Remember to say what it is that you actually want. Never say what you don't want. Never say, oh, I'm always sick, I'm always tired, oh, I'm always... Don't, okay? Listen to what you're saying and have a wonderful week. More to come, okay? Bye for now.